Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
All right, thank you for being with us. We continue to follow now this breaking news out of Durham. Police are working to evacuate South Point Mall as we speak after reports of shots fired.
Mark Boyle is in the WRAL Live Center as this is coming on a very busy shopping day, Black Friday. Mark, you just spoke to an employee who works inside the mall.
Right now, employees are hiding inside stores as they're not sure exactly what's going on. Sky 5 just arriving 30 seconds ago. You can see some people running through the parking lot right here. This is in front of the Belk store. You can see that. And this entire mall, the entire area right now surrounded with police and emergency personnel out in Durham. Here's what we know. According to witnesses, those inside, I'm going to switch over to this shot on the ground. You can get an idea of the police presence there. They heard what they thought were shots fired, and we're hearing that at least one person has been shot. We're waiting to get confirmation on that, but going back to Sky 5 just gives you an idea of what it is like right there with all of those people in that parking lot trying to get out. You have emergency personnel and ambulances trying to get in. We don't have anything confirmed right now on the suspect or the shooter in this case, but say that one more time. Will do. All right, we're getting some information here as well from those who are inside the mall. Let's take a listen. This is somebody at Sunglass Hut who is hiding, hunkering down right now. Take a listen.
We were working with customers, and then all we saw was people starting to run and screaming, and then everybody was just starting to panic. I didn't see anything else other than that. I didn't hear anything except just people running, obviously, towards the exits that was towards Macy's. I called security, and they told me to shelter in place.
All right, Council Member Mark Anthony Middleton live on the phone right now with me. Councilmember, tell me what we're hearing. I know that you're getting information from police slowly here. This is a huge response. We have our helicopter Sky 5 over the scene. It's a massive scene. Tell me what you know or what you're looking to find out here this afternoon, sir.
Well, let me firstly say that our hearts go out to everyone who's been affected. Let me say very clearly, we have no official word from our administration yet, or our chief, or the police. I am getting reports from a number of people that are there at the mall and that have been there at the mall, and of course all over social media, that shots were indeed fired at South Point Mall, but we have no information about victims, the number of people that were injured, anything of that nature. But our police are on a site doing what they do. And we ask all people in the city to stay away from the area right now.
It looks like from Sky 5 right now, we're looking at officials treat somebody who may have gotten hurt in some capacity, some level. We have received some photos here at WRAL that we're not showing on the air, but appear to show blood splattered all over the tile there. We've also seen some photos of officers going through the mall. What's your message right now for those who might have friends or family inside the mall? Obviously, this is a very scene that's changing very quickly, a developing scene here this afternoon.
Well, the situation is still fluid, but of course we're all deeply, deeply concerned. This is Black Friday. This is a huge shopping day. We know a lot of people are out after the holiday trying to do shopping and enjoy. First thing we would say is that our first responders are on scene, and let's let them do their work in securing the mall and treating any victims that there may be, and apprehending anyone that needs to be apprehended. It's really important that folks stay clear of the area and let our first responders get in there and do the work that they've been trained to do.
All right, Mark Anthony Middleton, I appreciate you taking the call, sir. We'll certainly be in touch with you. And call me if you have anything on your end as well.
Will do. Thank you, Mark.
All right, thank you very much. Lena, Dan will send it back to you and update you as this newscast here continues. And right now, we do have a team of journalists and reporters on the way to the scene monitoring this developing story.
So let's talk about some of the things we do know about this as we wait to get some of the details. Clearly, people have been hurt, whether that was by gunfire or during the melee.
We have a photojournalist on the phone right now. Vinny, you are on scene. Tell me what you're seeing and what the reaction from people has been at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, the people around me haven't really been too sure of what's going on because they weren't necessarily near it when it happened. But when I pulled up on scene, there was actually a resident of some sort, not an officer, nothing like that, who was blocking the traffic and trying to tell people not to pull in because you couldn't necessarily see anything because the way that the mall is situated is kind of lower, so I don't really saw lights. And it was just a traffic nightmare. Officers were struggling to get in. But obviously once they did, you could tell they are out here in full force. and just trying to do their best with what they can.
What are you able to see in terms of how many people were able to get out of the mall?
It looks like there's a good amount of people that are trying to, that are out and moving around. There's probably been at least about 20 people around me that I have either come and gone. I think it actually kind of appears that people who are from the area are having family come pick them up or something like that because they've just kind of been getting in cars that are on the road. So I think it actually, people are kind of leaving their cars here if they can and just kind of worrying about it later.
Now, we do want to describe a bit some of the photos that we received earlier. These are not photos that we feel comfortable putting on air, but we'll try to describe them the best we can given the circumstances. But they appeared to show blood on the ground. It also showed people tending to someone, and it appeared that there was more than one scene where that was happening. Again, we want to be careful to draw too many conclusions. You can see here that those people are near the mall area and appear calm based on the imagery we see here. That seems to be what I would imagine better news than people running out of the building, as far as there being any type of active situation or a gunman on the loose, something like that. And also the position of officers right now. They don't appear to be in a defensive position. They don't have guns drawn. You saw the people walking calmly out of the mall, probably also instructed to do so that there isn't further panic. But it doesn't appear right now that there is a situation where they're trying to rush people out of the mall or rush them into a certain position of the parking lot. Vinny, about how many people are you seeing out there? Actually, right now we have photojournalist Keith Baker up in Sky 5, so you'll really be able to provide this perspective. How many people could you estimate that you're seeing out there right now?
I would have no idea how to estimate that because they're scattered all over the place. But everybody that's walking into the parking lot is very calm. There are lots of police officers and police cars and fire trucks at every entrance to the building. But everybody that we have seen so far has been walking very calmly. Nobody seems to be in a panic. It seems fairly orderly. Now, once they get to their cars, the traffic is incredibly backed up at every exit to the mall and to get onto the highways. But it does not seem to be a very panicked situation at the moment. The only person we have seen that seemed to be getting any treatment was here, and they have moved on a little bit now. But she almost looked like she may be having a panic attack or something like that more than actually being injured because they had her standing up and they were talking to her. But other than that, it seems like other than all the entrances to the mall covered, everybody's moving out pretty calmly.
Right now, Keith, is there a place where there are more officers concentrated in terms of an entrance of the mall, or is it pretty evenly positioned?
It's pretty evenly positioned. There are a few entrances that have only a couple of cars. A lot of them seem to be more service entrances at the moment. But as you can see, I mean, the cars are just backed up in every direction trying to get out. But as I said, everybody's walking very calmly through the parking lot.
I actually want to bring us over to Aaron Thomas, who we know is our lovely WRAL reporter. Aaron is actually off today, and I'm so glad that you're okay, but you were inside the mall when we went into lockdown.
Yeah, we were inside one of the express stores just, shopping for Black Friday, actually with one of my friends. And, just a regular day, just hoping for, nothing but some good deals.
Fun. Yeah. And then you were in lockdown. Were you kind of sheltering in place? Yeah,
so we were in the express store, and I was looking around at one of the clothing racks, and all of a sudden I see this swarm of people running. And at that point, it's like you don't know what to do. It's like, do you run out or do you stay in the store and try to hunker down? So we did lock down. They locked the doors. They had us go to the back of the store to make sure that we, weren't visible to any suspect if they were still in the mall.
And I know, Aaron, that, we are still getting information about what exactly the gravity of the situation was, but you have photos, you saw people bleeding, you saw people severely injured.
Yeah, we saw some pretty gruesome photos. One, I saw some blood that was on the ground inside the mall, and then once once we finally escorted outside, you can see some of the reunions happening with family members, but we did see EMS workers escorting, I think it was a woman, and she had blood all over her face. So we're not sure exactly how she got hurt, but it was pretty bad.
Well, and the emotional toll. I know you're dealing with it, and we've seen so many families who were split up. They were shopping while this happened. They heard the gunshots. They had to kind of shelter in place and then reunite.
Yeah, I mean, it's in that moment, it's just, especially as a reporter, situations like this, but when you're on the other side of it and you're a shopper, you just don't expect it. You don't know how to react.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we have your voice, and I'm glad you are safe.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we will send it back to you.
And just to break things down as far as the timeline of how this unfolded, at least from our perspective, we heard that there were potential shots fired, potentially people. Okay, you know what? We want to throw it to Eric Miller right now because he has an interview with a witness in the parking lot. Eric, what did they see?
Yeah, this is Thomas Lucas here. He was inside when all of this chaos started. Thomas, just walk me through. What did you see? What did you hear?
I just heard some banging noises, and then a lot of people was running towards different exits and different doors. I actually didn't really see anything going on, just a bunch of people picking up their children, running for a certain, depending on where they were going, right? They were running inside of stores. Some of them was just running to the exits. And from there, I just walked to an exit myself.
Yeah, and what did you see when you got outside?
What I seen was a woman. She had, her ear was bleeding, and just hearing from what the people were saying near her, they were saying that a bullet went past her ear and it chopped off a piece of it. And then they were saying that the other few people were hurt and wounded. But I only seen one person that was actually wounded when I went outside.
Yeah, yeah. So did you hear anything from the mall, from leadership? Was there any kind of announcement over the PA system?
Nah, there was, until you just asked that, I didn't know they had a PA system, but like there was no talk of like any drill or active shooter or telling us to get cover or anything like that. No security detail. It took about 15 minutes for the police to arrive out here. And even when they arrived, it still was like no order.
Yeah, and did you have a sense of where this shooting happened inside the mall?
I didn't, but because where everyone was running from, based on where I was at, it looked like it was happening near the Christmas tree or coming from like where the big Christmas tree is in the mall. A lot of people kept saying they heard it in the food court, but people were saying they didn't see it in the food court. Most people were saying they seen it on a lower level.
Yeah. All right. Well, Thomas, thank you very much for your time.
No doubt.
Yeah,
man.
a lot of questions that we're still trying to answer out here today. An enormous law enforcement presence remains here on scene, and you look around the parking lot here, you'll see there's still an enormous line of cars as families try to pack up, to head for the exits, to get clear. We're working to bring you more details, talking to more folks out here at the mall. Bring you details as we have them. Back to you.
Yeah, Eric, thank you. If anybody can stop and talk to you, we're certainly interested to hear what they saw and what they heard and what they're feeling after all of this.
And you can imagine, he said, coming from where the big Christmas tree is in the mall, so many people take photos around that tree. They congregate around that tree, particularly around this time. So that is just so concerning to hear. WRAL reporter Sarah Kruger is in a vehicle right now. Oh, okay, just out of the vehicle. I understand you weren't able to get into the complex because of all the traffic. Sarah, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? Describe it for us.
Lena, it took me a while to get here, a lot longer than usual, because there is so much traffic around the mall. And if you'll look here real quick, you can see what our other reporters have been showing you, that this backup of traffic just continues. I've even spoken with some people who say they just left their cars in this parking lot. They will come back tomorrow or another time. But of course, understandably, they want to get out of this situation as quickly as possible. We're even hearing and seeing more fire trucks, more police officers still responding to the scene. So this remains a very active situation. And these two young men just came out of the mall, just spoke with them. They told me that they heard the shots and they also saw a fight that they say preceded those shots. So I want to hear from you all. Yeah, just describe what you saw, particularly leading up to those gunshots.
We were in the Macy's, and you could just hear like an altercation start, and people start yelling between two people. Don't know what it was over. And then next thing you hear, you just start hearing gunshots between two people, and you just see everyone start running to the doors, and just people yelling and crying and screaming, just running out of the mall as fast as they could. And now as you see now, there's so much traffic between everyone trying to leave the mall as soon as possible.
And describe to me where exactly this happened.
I believe I was on the first floor of the Macy's when it happened. The altercation happened between the two people, and like had to be probably over like a gift or something. Cause
we didn't stay too long. We saw the altercation like going on, and we were like, all right, well, we didn't really think anything of it, and then we were like, okay, so it's starting to pick up. So we grabbed all our friends. We started heading towards the exit, and then that's when we did hear the shots, and then proceeded to see everyone rushing out. And again, yeah, we didn't fathom like what actually happened until like we got in our cars and like tried to get out of here. And there was like so many like people running, screaming, and crying, and like traffic was really bad. I believe there was a car accident up there because of the traffic. So yeah, I mean.
And so this was in the Macy's that this happened.
Yes.
And could you describe, when you say you saw an altercation, could you describe what you mean by that?
I mean, it looked like something regular, you know, like something like normal, like an altercation that you normally see here and there. And then I mean, like arguing like loudly. And then it just proceeded to be something that was very out of control. So that's pretty much all we saw.
And then how are you all doing emotionally right now? I imagine that was...
I mean, I'm glad we got out of here as fast as, or not out of here, because obviously the traffic is still very bad over there. But I'm glad we like noticed that something was going on and we left. But I can only imagine for the people that actually witnessed the person getting shot. I believe there was 2 people. I think 1 critically injured and then 2 people injured. But I'm not too sure because that's what a cop said up there. But I mean, I'm all right. It's just like crazy to see this happen so close to home, you know.
And we are still awaiting confirmation from police about exactly the extent of injuries and how many people were shot. And those are those sirens that I mentioned. Sorry about that. Those approaching and getting louder. I've talked with a couple other people who are inside the mall, and they describe running out as like a stampede and really scary. Was that what it was like for you all?
Yeah, we talked to one lady in the parking lot, and she said she got like ran over by a lot of people, and that the employees were just all running to the back in the Macy's, and the people were just like sprinting out the mall. For what we can see, like, it's just people run. Like, it didn't matter if there was someone in front of you or that. They're just trying to get to the mall as fast as they can because they were so scared about what could happen to their life and who they're with. So they're just sprinting as fast as they can, trampling people over.
Oh.
Well, thank you all for talking to us. We're so glad that you're okay. And, of course, we're still asking for information from Durham Police.
We are going to bring you this press conference live as we get it, and I will bring you the update, and I will bring you the chief as soon as we have it.
Kaylee, thank you so much. Yes, the police saying 5:30 is going to be the time for the news conference, but when a situation is like that, we give them a few minutes here or there. You never know exactly when they're going to be doing this news conference or going live with us, but as you can see, Keely is in place, and we'll be ready to bring that to you as soon as it happens. In the meantime, we do have Mark in the live center with some more information on the one thing we do know for sure here is that somebody has been taken into custody, but we know a little more after that. Have you learned anything else?
What we know right now is that one person is in custody. That's according to the council member there in Durham, Mark Anthony Middleton. And we've been seeing a ton of social media video. We've been going through that. I want to show you the video on your screen right now. Take a look at this. What we know from this video is that one person is in handcuffs. We don't know if this is the suspect or just somebody they're pulling aside to question there. But this is the area, the same spot there at the mall. You see that he's in handcuffs right there, where there were people being treated for their injuries. Around that location on the second floor, there was blood all around the tile. That's where we think, near the food court, where the shooting happened. People coming and going very quickly. Again, 3 people confirmed to have been shot. The chief now at the podium there in Durham to give an update. Let's go ahead and take this live and take a listen. This is the first we're hearing from Durham Police tonight.
Thank you. And Chief, we are live when you're ready.
All right, I'm going to wait for. Take your time. Take your time. We're good. Take your time.
The chief is just letting all the news crews set up right now. Everyone's trying to get ready to get this information.
So again, we're waiting for the Durham police chief. She just arrived moments ago.
Yeah.
Just walked up, so we wait for all
You
the
ready?
other news
Okay.
stations to start talking.
All right,
Here
so
she goes.
my name is Patrice Andrews, PatriceAndrews. So the information that I'm going to give you at this time is a preliminary little bit of information that we have thus far. please understand we're going to take some questions after. There are going to be some things that I'm not going to be able to answer just simply because I don't know right now, or it's a part of the evolving investigation, okay? So at approximately, sure, yes. I'm happy to do it again if I need to while you get set up. So at approximately 3:23 p.m. This afternoon, Durham police officers that were working off duty inside of the mall, side of here at South Point, requested assistance after hearing a sound of shots coming from within the mall. As a result, the mall was placed on a complete lockdown. The responding officers discovered that 3 people had been shot. Preliminary investigation has shown this, that the shooting that occurred today occurred between 2 groups that knew each other. Those individuals following the shooting, the majority of them fled. However, we have 1 person that is being detained, and we do have several witnesses. The 3 individuals, one of those is a 10-year-old juvenile, and they were transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. They were injured as a result of a ricochet from one of the rounds. So, certainly shootings in this city have got to stop. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. I want to thank obviously the men and women of the Durham Police Department who responded so promptly and acted with valor today. The Durham County Sheriff's Office, the North Carolina State Highway Patrol, who have responded to assist us as well, Emergency Management, Durham County Fire and EMS, as well as, and always will be wonderful partners, our South Point Mall security and management team. So at this point in time, I'm happy to open it up for a few questions.
Chief Keely Arthur with WRL News.
Yes.
We're hearing reports of a woman who was pregnant that was trampled. Do you have any update on that?
So I don't know. I have not heard that specifically. I know that did happen with the previous incident that happened here. However, I have not gotten that report. I know that we had 3 people that I know of at this point in time that were injured, that have all been treated or taken to the hospital, but I have not heard of someone that's pregnant just yet.
The 3 people that were injured, were those the ones that were shot, or those were 3 additional people that were hurt in the evacuation?
Yeah, so let me clarify. So we had 3 people that were shot, and then we had an additional 3 people that were injured during the evacuation.
Those 3 people who were shot, you mentioned the 10-year-old. Was the 10-year-old a bystander, or was the 10-year-old part of the group that knew each other?
I don't know that yet. I don't know that yet.
What do we know about the people? You said that these are groups of people that know each other, so this was not an active kind of domestic terror or anything like that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. These people, this group of people, I'm sorry for hitting your microphone, they actually did know each other, so they were familiar with each other. So this is not, when we talk about active assailant, right, this is not a situation where someone came into the mall and indiscriminately just began firing.
Where in the mall did this
this section of the mall, I think it'd be the southern corner of the mall. Upstairs portion, we have an active crime scene. The mall is closed, and as soon as we are able to release the mall, and we'll talk with mall management and make that decision together. So, yes,
so what happens next? You said that shootings have got to stop. What are you guys going to do in the immediate time to make sure that this mall is going to be safe to reopen again?
Well, what we have continued to do, we have continued to provide security here for the mall, but not just for the mall, for all of our residents that are affected. I think that's very important. We have worked with all of our federal partners to identify these individuals that are bent on coming to our community and wreaking havoc. We will be sending them to federal prison.
Chief, we have video of a person in handcuffs. What can you tell us about the people who have been arrested? Is there anyone that still needs to be arrested? And what about any recovering of weapons?
Sure. So right now, I know for sure we have 1 weapon that was recovered. There are several people that we want to be able to locate and speak with. I do not have descriptions on those folks just yet. Once we have a description on them, we'll be sure to get that out to you. We will be making several arrests, I'm certain, during the course of this investigation, but we'll keep you posted. So, but again, thank you all so much for being here tonight. If we have anything more significant, aside from what I've just told you, I'm happy to come out. However, at this point in time, I do not foresee any further on camera.
It's a busy shopping weekend. Should
It
people
is.
feel safe to come back
Absolutely.
here tomorrow?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. That
Absolutely. Thank you.
Can you state that first part of this again? You said you would restate it.
Yeah, yes, I will do it for you. Let me do the proceeding and get the first
That was
part. I want to be
Chief Andrews of the Durham Police Department,
what-
just giving us a recap. She said that that they are searching for one additional person that they believe was involved in this situation, but right now not able to give us too many details, at least on the status of the 3 people shot here at South Point in Durham on Black Friday.
All right. Thanks, Keely. So we got a lot out of that news conference, though it was brief. 3 additional injuries in addition to the people who were shot. One of the victims shot, a 10-year-old boy injured by a bullet that ricocheted. Just heartbreaking to think about that. But we also have this detail from Chief Andrews that none of the injuries appear to be life-threatening. We tell you that detail. They're basically saying that these are not critical injuries. They're not expecting that people potentially will have to seek trauma care, but they are expected to survive, which is good news. But here is what's not good at this point. One person in custody. They are still looking for other people, and they plan on arresting more people, according to the chief. There
She said several arrests.
Several arrests that continue to need to be made after this situation. So this investigation, far from over. However, they have said that the threat is over.
3:30 today, officers who were at the mall patrolling hear gunshots. A fight that had broken out in the food court. They've determined that it was between 2 groups who knew each other. Shots are fired and 3 people are hit by bullets, including a 10-year-old child. Of course, so many children and families at that packed, busy mall at 3:30 on a Black Friday. You can only imagine what it would have been like at that moment when you hear those gunshots and the people who ran. Again, Keely asking the chief about something else we've heard today of a woman who was pregnant, who was being tended to by medical personnel after being trampled in that melee. So still a lot of questions, but we do know at least one person is in custody and they're looking for more.
And I expect that we're going to hear about more injuries from the people who were trampled on as they were leaving the mall. You're looking at these live images from WRAL Sky 5. It was the perfect vantage point where we were looking at that Christmas tree that in that window there, because we heard from a witness earlier that they believe that the shooting happened around that location. You can imagine how many people were surrounding that Christmas tree, taking pictures. Also Santa in the mall, people wanting to take pictures with Santa. So this happening around that area where there were so many people congregating, and then they immediately fled that area. And that's how we're hearing of so many people injured as they were trying to find the exit to get out of this mall. So a lot more information that we will need to be following here. We need to hear about additional arrests here.
Absolutely.
How many other people need to be arrested when they're talking about 2 groups of people.
And the people we've seen detained, or the person rather we've seen detained, one person in handcuffs being escorted by police out of the mall. We do not know that person's role in this.
We don't.
We only know that that is a person who is being detained, not charged with a crime, not someone they're saying had a gun or shot anybody. We do know they have a weapon, but we don't know where they recovered that weapon. Might have been on the ground somewhere. So again, a lot of specifics that we need to figure out, but we're learning a lot of this from interviews like that you just saw from the police, as well as from the witnesses, the people who were there, the video and the pictures they were getting. We have Mark right now, Mark Boyle in the live center with some of that information for us. Mark, what have you been able to find?
Well, Dan, when we go through all of these photos and videos from viewers that have been coming in, it just paints the picture of chaos of really what happened inside the mall there this afternoon. Take a look at your screen if you're just now joining us at 5:42. This is what it looked like just moments after the shooting, where people were helping those who were hurt, whether they were hurt in that stampede and that rush. And then you have this chaos that ensued there in the food court. That's the photo you're looking at right there. One thing, the theme here that we're hearing, and you probably picked up on this, a lot of people are being hurt in that rush to get out of the mall when you hear these several shots ring out. And so we heard of 3 people being treated for that standpoint, and that, as Lena was mentioning, could serve certainly change as this investigation continues. I do want to hit on the traffic situation just for a quick moment while we have you. It is extremely slow going. The Interstate I-40 there inbound is slow as many exits in that area are blocked as the shooting investigation continues to unfold. Durham police again tonight searching for more suspects involved in this.